All right, it's time for the overview, the demo, the walkthrough. So let me show you guys Thorbit, the tool that does your SEO for you, does the keyword research for you, does all of the prioritization for you, the filtering on Search Console for you, the competitor research, the buyer research. My God, there's nothing it does not do. There are some things. All right, let me move my head over here. So let's use this. First off, we have projects over here. Our connections are for WordPress currently, Search Console, AI Assistant, and our subscriptions. We can add a project by simply add the project name. And then after that, just a website URL. And that's it. Once you do that, it will pop up. You hit generate. And then literally you just wait like 20 minutes. And then you can immediately start working inside of your tool. So this is what we have so far. We have a Thorbit score. This is my topic authority score if I want to cover the entire topic. So let me click it. Now, this won't make sense to you yet, so I'm not going to cover it, but I will share this. How is this calculated? Well, what we do is we have critical entities. We have high importance entities, medium importance, and low. And I'll show you those in a second. But the idea is I have a belief that a standard best practice here is that for critically important entities, we probably need about 6 URLs to cover them, 5 for high, 3 for medium, and only 1 when it comes down to the low importance. So that's all that is. Now, let's go into the ICP. So first off, this is what is generated. We get this core demographics, critical pain points. It is the ideal customer profile. And I kid you not, this is insane, right? So I'm going to say, here, I'll give a good description here, right? I'll do that. Let me open up my Claude just so you can see it. And I'm going to show you the power of the ICP. So we're going to do no specific, just Sonnet, by the way. What I'm going to do is we'll say, write a Facebook ad that is most impactful for the following business. So this alone is already going to be pretty good, right? But as that's going, what I'm going to grab is, then I'm going to grab this. I'll copy it all. And I'll open this back up. Now, I have my full ICP for you. I'd like you to take another stab at this. I have a feeling you'll do much better. All right, so let's take a look. This actually is pretty good right here, just having this. Why hasn't your medication worked? Your genes may have the answer. You tried medication. Oh yeah, it actually covers this. So even that does a really good job. That, I forget, this summary statement, it does a great job. So let's take a look though. Headline, by the way, quotes work super well. So I haven't trained this to do anything. This is just to show you guys just how powerful the ICP is. After 3 failed medications, I finally found out why nothing worked. That's a great, if you guys run Facebook ads, I think you'll know that while it's hard to see that this headline, which it looks good, and it is pretty good, that's actually what I would typically do. This kind of thing works super well. So then here's the copy. And now we have, hey, results in this covers these things. It's got a 1.71 times greater likelihood of remission. So we're saying all the things perfectly. We're not hallucinating at all. We're not making bad promises. We can actually talk about the product. We're including things where these are literal quotes from people. Literal quotes. So very powerful, just this ICP alone. Now, let me, I'm going to back this up and say 5,000 comments were read and 68 sources were addressed for this. So let me kind of cover why this is important. I can show this now to a client and they can have so much confidence in what I'm doing. They can have confidence that I understand them. Heck, I will improve their own understanding or their own ability to verbalize their business. So next, the EOS framework. This is also helpful just to show them, hey, this is what we think your core values are, your focus, your marketing strategy, your uniques, your process, and the guarantee. So that's all there is there. Now let's get back. Now that is the beginning. There's a reason why that is where we start. The reason we start there, well, it's because it powers everything. And if you've done any research into LLM rankings, and sort of trends, you'll see that commercial terms and transactional terms are now dominant. And that's kind of the thing to focus on. You really need to dial back on the informational terms. I used to focus on 80% informational. I would now say that I'm aiming for probably 60, 70% commercial transactional with 30% informational to 40. It's flipped. And what's funny is the algorithm used to penalize you. So it's just odd. It's odd how things change. So let me now cover this. This is the heart. We start here and then we create this magic thing here. So while that visual pops up, what I'm going to show you, oh, great, it's already here. So now I can also show clients or think of sales talks and stuff, being able to show them this. Say, hey, I've mapped out, this is your world. This is your entire universe of what we need to cover. And I can map out and show you exactly how well you've covered it. And we generate these, and it's actually, I'm not just measuring coverage by semantics, I'm measuring intent. So I'm literally measuring, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's do drug interaction screening. All right, so down here. Great, so I know that this is highly important. I know that I only have 2 URLs that have low coverage for this. I know the keywords that are associated with it. That way, when I'm trying to see whether there's some sort of semantic matching, well, look, I have all the keywords because otherwise it wouldn't. A semantic check for drug interaction screening, polypharmacy would not have shown up. You would have had a guide on polypharmacy, and then it wouldn't have even been relevant. So we have synonyms, keywords, then we map out every relationship. So now imagine your AI is going to actually, the swarm of AI agents, they have access to this whenever they write an article that's connected to this entity. So this one it includes, prevents, it's part of, implemented by, requires, addressed by, detects. Then we have use cases. There's 5 use cases. We generate some search queries based off of our knowledge of the ICP and what they're trying to figure out. We expand these search queries as well. We have an overview. We have our details. We have some considerations to be made around it. And then we have what it's referenced by. And then I can actually hop between each of these. So now I'm in a different, I'm actually in a different entity. So that's the visual. Now you can export the CSV and just see it this way too. So we'll say, how about, I only want to see high coverage. Okay, so now I can see which things I've covered the best. So ADHD, I've done a great job of benefits, verification, billing confusion, bioinformatics software, bipolar disorder, all sorts of stuff that I've covered well. And I can see the relationships in here too. I can click this. You just get a little pop-up. Nothing important. That's it for this. All right, so let's hop into the next thing. So what we need to do once we get that is we need to actually scrape the website. So here we go. We've scraped the website. All of the files are here. So I can actually view these too, but it's nice to have all the content. So, and we can rescrape it. We embed it, and then we have a little graph right here. So the graph, I'm still improving the little entities to make it even more helpful. But what you're able to do is we actually are going to be able to have your competitor mapped here too. And I used to do this for this would be like a $5,000 report because it's so hard to do. There's so many things you need to do. So what I've done is I scraped all the content. I placed it in here, and now I've actually overlaid it in the same vector space. The same, we've converted text into, we'll call it's numbers, sorry. So we have number representations of our URLs. So now I can visually see outliers. Okay, category, the events on their website. Yeah, that makes sense. Their sitemap. Yeah, that makes sense too. What if I keep zooming in? What is this? We have an FDA label that's an outlier. That makes sense too. Another label, outlier. That makes sense. What you'll notice is with some of these things, well, what's this? Brand information. So I have not really talked about Abilify, and you'll notice that there isn't anything that's like super close to this. So visually now I can show them. And the power of this is I no longer, when you tell people, hey, you need to write more content, they're just like, yeah, I've heard it before. But what if you're actually able to tell them, hey, let me show you. I know that you have more backlinks. I know that you've done this and that, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm actually able to show, great, if they're covering a keyword, are they covering it with more URLs? Do they have denser coverage around something? Are they doing a better job overall of covering the things that matter to people? Because ultimately that's what Google's trying to do, and that's what LLMs are trying to do. Are you covering the things when people are evaluating a subject, a topic? Are you covering it? That's what this is for. So, really powerful. Each of these little dots, depending on its brand or the entity importance, if it's a low one, only one, you only need one node on it. If it is a systems processes, a medium, then we are looking for 3. If it's high, 5. If it's critical, 6. So that would just mean that you'd want at least 6 dots around this. Super helpful, guys. All right, let's back out of this and go over, competitor. I need to go to competitor analysis, I think, and then remove that tab. But here we go, so competitor. Now we can actually add more competitors. And if you add one, all you do is the domain, give it a display name, and then you just hit the little buttons, and then it does its thing. If I do insights, we generate, hey, here's my rank out of the 3 competitors. I can see it matched up. So I have this, the gap is this, blah, blah, blah. I am trailing. I could create a brief straight away from here if I wanted to. Then I could see what my wins are. Where am I winning, where they are losing? So no competitor has these things at all. So I'm crushing them on these. Awesome. Then there's blue ocean. So it's untapped opportunities where there's less than 30% coverage by all. Then we have head-to-head. Anyway, so you can see their URLs. We could see some more comparisons over here. Topical authority. I need to regenerate this because I've changed the algorithm. But what you're able to see is now, this is where it gets really important. Now what you need is, well, I need to cover these topics, sure, but how do I just prioritize it based off of critical or whatever these categories are, or is there some other sort of thing I'm doing? Here's what I recommend. Number 1, your identity as a brand, services. So you cover services. Now, with your services, there is a system and a process for how you do your service. Therefore, systems and processes should also be done after services. Now, with your systems and processes, this touches a couple things. 1, you have tools and materials that are used for those. And with tools and materials, there's obviously governance and compliance around those tools, and there's brands and products. But with systems and processes, we also have causes and triggers. And that touches services too. So what things are happening that causes the need for the service, that leads to the symptoms? So keep that in mind. Now, what we're able to do is with every single competitor, I can see, all right, well, I've done a much better job of covering, services. They've only done 3 of 70 topics for the services. So crazy. Now, we can see some coverage by categories, coverage by importance. Here, and I don't think it works right now because I changed the algorithm, right? But once I validate that it works, I will record another little video. But here you can enter in your own phrase, sentence, paragraph, whatever, and then it's going to compare that, all that sort of like advanced proprietary algorithmic stuff that I've created that I'm trying to match off of the algorithm leak that Google has. People will complain and say you can't know exactly, but I mean, Google's algorithm did leak. I wrote an article that was ranked number 3 for Search Engine Land's best article of the year, quoted by HubSpot, and a whole bunch of companies quoted this thing. The Verge, Entrepreneur. And I say that just to say it doesn't mean that was a perfect article, but it means that I'm not just some rando trying to invent, these scoring systems that people just seem to love. Like, was it Neuron Writer or any of these sort of like things where you don't even know who's behind it or how they're truly evaluating stuff. That was not my goal. I wanted people to have confidence in this tool. Anyone can make a pretty looking graph. All right, so that's this piece here. Lastly is this one I love. This is another really important one where people don't really know to do this. But when I'm looking at SEO and I'm trying to get some impact and trying to figure out why am I not ranking? Why are they ranking? Well, I can see my publishing frequency, last 30 days, 90, average, total, and active months. So this is a big one you want to win in. You want to make sure you're ahead of them or at least on par. Just because you have some good coverage, Google wants freshness. So keep that in mind. Next, we have URL categorization. So this one is actually a Python script that it's a simple one, simply just looking at, I believe, sitemaps. And then it's extracting categories based off of your actual URL structure. So I don't really use it too much, but it is nice to have. The better you are at this sort of URL structure, the more useful this is. Now, this one I like a lot because no matter who you are, no matter how bad the site is with the categories, I've generated and labeled the categories here. So now I know mental health, the monitoring of it, I have 161 pages. The depression aspect of mental health, 113. Test patients, so patients getting tested, 100 pages. Psychotropic test, 69 pages. Effects and uses, 62. Prescribing info, 59. Test medication, 59. Mental health anxiety, 38. A specific gene. This makes sense because we actually rank rather well for this. Then there's mental health holidays. Wow, we talk a lot about that. And then we grade out the things that don't matter. We have a lot of pages on archives and transcripts. And lastly, we've got antidepressants right here with 18 pages. So, super helpful, guys. I think you can tell already how this is going to be impactful for you. Being able to get this kind of information, it used to require a level. Not only do you need to have an SEO that even knows that this stuff's important, but then you need to have an SEO that, on top of reading about it, they know how to get the info. And it takes a while. Like, it takes a good bit. So I've done that for you. All right, so let's back out. Now, next thing here, we're going to look at, I think probably the best thing to do is internal linking. So over here, it's pulling out, we're finding all of the good URLs that have good coverage of an entity. And then we're going to, we have importance filters, match quality filters, sort filters. But what I can do is say, well, let's do, how can I use the, I don't know, clinical something. Here, let me just minimize this so it makes it clear. Okay, and oops, sorry, and okay. All right, so this is saying there are 30, the entity that it's related to is anxiety, and 30 sources can link here. So we'll do this. This can link to it, okay? And it's got an okay match, okay? So I can look at all these okay matches. Not a ton of really strong, but we have some good matches. And here's some different like links via the entity. So we have GAD. All right, so we can do, let's do this. Oh, I didn't even know what that was. Generalized anxiety disorder. So I just hit the generate, and now I have 3 different internal links. I've got weave into existing, which is very helpful. Reword it naturally, and then we have a subtle addition. So that's the idea here. I'll be refining all of these processes to make it even easier and automatic, but for now, this is very nice. I can copy it and then just go to the URL and edit it, and I'm good to go. All right, so that's the internal links. Now, and that's not keyword-based, so it's true meaning. Everything is true meaning. It's how Google, as close as possible to how Google sees something and how LLMs are seeing things. So Next is the briefs and content. So I don't think I can create everything without getting some sort of error. As you can see, I'm on V1, V2 in the process of testing something. But with all that data, right, let's make it easy. Let's actually turn this into something where you can, just built out for you, get a campaign. So I know that I have a lot of stuff to do. And if I wrote everything that's here, it would get us to a target score of 86. And that's because also I have actually a little bit of room here where our baseline score doesn't get you even to 100 if you were to write everything. We have some extra room where you can basically write extra articles and get all the way to like a 100. So you kind of get this little bonus for being a bigger website. So now I can filter it. What needs content? What has partial coverage? No coverage. So we'll say no coverage. And then what I'll say is, well, I really just want to find the things that are critical. All right, so 37 entities, 357 right now. The formula, I think, is 10 articles per. So I will only grab tier 1. You don't have to understand it. Just understand that I'm filtering a ton. Now what I can do is, if I want, I can filter here if I want. Or I can skip it. But let's hit next. Now, I'm only doing critical. I'm going to say I only want 6 per. So we're going to recalculate. So that's 170 articles, 29 entities, and I'm going to hit next. Now, here's the score impact. We're going to get an 87% increase, 23 breakdown by importance. Great. Let's hit next. Now, if you're just doing it yourself and you're a business owner, then DIY. If you're an agency, then now you can actually assign some values, like I'm going to charge 100 for a brief and 300 for an article. That would be $56,000 for this thing. Now, if some of you, by the way, this is a totally normal thing to charge. We'll do this, $50 and $200. I see a lot more agencies able to charge that, so it's $250 for the full thing. And by the way, you used to, I think there was this stigma on AI for a little bit. The idea is, well, it's AI. It's not as good as humans. This is better than humans because there's 100 agents and they're so specifically trained on like little micro fragments of my brain and on expertise that I've spent a decade to acquire working 80 hours a week. So yeah, this it's great. It's truly amazing content. Well researched, optimized, matches the brand tone, CRO built in, automatically SEO, on-page optimized, but we do have a section for that I can show later. All right, so now we see all this stuff and I could create the campaign and then it's all ready. So pretty neat. Now I could see the list of entities right here. I could generate the briefs. Then I can look at my briefs and articles right here. So let's do, am I a candidate? Now here's what the brief looks like. It's gorgeous. This is going to be better than any brief I think you've probably seen. So we have an eligibility guide is what this decided from the entity. We know that the entity type is a service. The entity name is pharmacogenomic testing. The intent is candidacy assessment and the funnel is consideration. Here's the keyword and the primary pain point is this. Now we have a search query that it's tied to. And here we go. Now we have the urgency of this query, the specificity, ticket value, buying cycle, complexity, and scope. And that is how we come up with our words. We don't come up with words based off of just simple averages of what other people are doing. That doesn't make sense to me. Ultimately, the one that actually understands people the best and delivers what they need, that is the person that eventually ranks. And you're just assuming that everyone that's written content, if they're all copying each other, you actually don't end up getting this exploratory sort of thing where you're able to actually find the golden nugget. You're just copying them. And if you don't differentiate, then because it's much harder to differentiate if you're just starting from a place of, I want to copy others. So we have the SEO and metadata. Find out if you're a candidate for pharma testing. 2 to 3 failed medication trials is the optimal point. Over 3 million patients tested, results in 2 days. This is a sick meta description. secondary keywords, ICP alignment, literal quotes, by the way, ICP languages to address, okay, key lesson, decision triggers, business positioning, proof points, voice and tone, the content outline, the exact amount of words. I mean, it's just like, it's incredible, guys. Internal linking suggestions. Whew. Pretty nuts. Business context, guidelines to follow, don't overpromise. Position is complementary. Address but don't dwell. Maintain scientific credibility. Call to action. Quality criteria. It just, it's so good. All right, so let's go to the top real quick and you can see the article. All right, so if you've been stuck in medication roulette for months or years, trying one antidepressant after another, watching one fail or cause unbearable side effects, you're probably wondering if there's a better way. The question, am I a candidate for pharma testing, often surfaces after the second or third medication stops working, right when the trial and error approach starts feeling less like standard protocol and more like endless guesswork with your life. Here's the reassuring reality. You don't need to have the failed everything to qualify. In fact, waiting too long may be a bigger mistake. Research shows that initial antidepressant treatment works for only 28 to 33% of patients. Source here. Amazing. And it's actual sources, guys. We're not relying on the AI to come up with sources. All of the time, it does the research. 30-something pages are found to get research on top of all the other research that we've done as a baseline. Whew. Incredible. Just incredible. So, yeah, this is it's really, really good. Really, really good. All right. Now, let's go back. Let's look at the on page. Now, I am currently developing this, so don't get mad. But we can analyze content, and it's going to either be from the website or it's going to be from the scraped website or the generated articles that we've done. Or, so that's if you want to still run a test. Or it's for WordPress. I'll get both. So let's do this one. Still a work in progress, y'all. So be patient with me. All right, so far we've got word count, internal links, images. We're trying to create our averages here. All this UI is subject to change. Topic coverage will be here. We'll have suggestions right here. Our terms will be right here. Entities, and you'll be able to click it and then see the actual keywords to use to cover those entities. We can see what's missing and done. Then we can see all the competitor stuff. And once again, it's going to be far different. You're not going to have, it's going to be a lot more than just this. And then you have AI. You can ask questions to AI. So I actually have writing styles. So if you wanted to customize, and which I do need to fix the writing styles here, or sorry, the spacing or whatever. But you can create your own writing styles. So once you do, just like how Claude works, and now if you want to edit in a very specific way, you've already created your own editor. Really neat, right? All right, so that's not all, by the way. If I do a little shortcode here, what do I want to do? Do I want to capture a screenshot of something? Do I want to do some more deep research? Do I want to search the web, scrape a page of content? What do I want to do? We're adding these tools. They work. I just got to make it safe. Make sure that everything is good to go. Okay. Now, next up. We're basically good with this one. So let's go to AI Assistant is going to be the exact same thing that you're seeing here. It is simply dedicated. You could do a drop down here and now dialogue with the entire project. So it has ICP, all of the entities, it has the entire database, and it also has my brain. So it knows things like entity SEO. Explain entity SEO to me. And topical authority. I can drop this down and then I can see streaming the question and the logic. So great. And it'll give you your answers. Perfect, perfect. How does it apply? Now, this is still a work in progress. This is an alpha feature, but ideally this would work, and then we would be good to go. I want this to be as easy as possible so people have everything they need. So even if there's questions, you have something. All right, so great. How it would apply. Entity discovery. Let's say you're in plumbing, core entities, supporting, related. Then we have coverage analysis. Then we have your thorbit score, strategic action, all sorts of stuff. So really, really cool, guys. It's so cool. I've wanted to build this for so long. All right, next. I got to double click this and then fix the integration here because it does something weird. Now you get to manage your entire search console here. And I created this tool because I eventually will have Google Analytics as well and my own custom pixel, which I've actually already built, but a lot of work to integrate. And now I can just see, if you're an agency, well, let's look at all our properties, see how we're doing. Great, I know that the query count, the ones that are in the positions this, and this, how are things looking? Perfect. Now, what I can do is I can do something like this. Click it, and I can see what are the top countries, devices, pages, queries. And what I can do next is I can do filters, however I want to filter, branded, non-branded, devices, countries. You can do all sorts of filters. And on top of that, I don't need to do a filter. I have things where I already built out the things that I thought was most impactful for businesses. This one says we have 141 duplicates, basically, or cannibalized queries. What that means is we have queries where essentially multiple URLs are showing up for the same query, so something needs to be done. You need to investigate it. So some of it is going to be very clear of like, hey, we don't need to worry about it too much. Strong Tie Insurance, that's the brand. Don't worry about it. Commercial truck insurance, though, or bobtail. Let's take a look. All right, so the primary here is based off of the position. We could also say that it's based off of the impressions. So any one of these. We need to figure out, though, well, they're kind of fighting over each other, so we either need to do something with internal links, or we need to redirect or delete it. You don't always have to do that, but that's kind of the main thing. So all that is here. Tells you what to do. Let's see if there's any other ones. Any examples? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. So you're getting all that data all in here. And it gives you just like something that you can immediately impact your SEO with. Next, we have indexation. So, and I need to add one more thing to it, but you get to know what is the percentage of pages that are indexed. So here's how I do my SEO and how I recommend it for my clients is, look, for the first 3 months, we're measuring not with leads. We typically are just measuring with, first, indexation. I want to make sure that is our content indexing. What percentage of it is indexed? If a low percentage is indexed, then I either need to delete something, redirect it, or optimize, typically. So 95%, that is good. I'm going to have a little thing that says like how, average daily crawls or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to get the average daily crawl up. I want to get the indexation rate up. And once that's good, then we're looking for impressions. Is our impressions growing? Our clicks growing? Then we shift over to a more, what do you call that? More of a just pure leads. SEO doesn't, we don't care about this as a business owner. We should only care about it for a little bit. It's helpful, not the thing to get caught up on. Next, we have a content gap analyzer, and we actually scrape all of the content, by the way. So we actually get all of it. Again, we scrape. Get fresh scrapes every time. And what this is going to help us accomplish is now I'm able to know, this one has 8 missing topics. Commercial truck insurance has 8 missing topics. So I wonder why the thing's missing. Either way, we'll do near. So, all right, strong tie insurance near me. We have business insurance near me, cheap commercial. All of these are unique. I could do gorilla insurance, semi-truck, Glendale. Oh, I see why. Basically, if there's a little arrow, then it moves over to the right. Yeah, Glendale. Okay, commercial auto insurance, Glendale, and commercial truck insurance, Glendale. The reason why this is showing up is it's basically saying this URL is actually, its average position is quite good. And we have validated that there are impressions for this. So because there's above 10 impressions, and because we are in the range where we know that, well, if we're in like this average position between 5 and 15 or something, well, I know that means then I can actually get these. This is telling me that there are 8 missing topics with 26 potential clicks. I think I'm using like 7% as the potential. So what this means is if I just add these related keywords, figure out how can I integrate them, then I could potentially quickly get 26 really high value clicks. So I'll be making sure that AI can do all of this automatically eventually. But for now, you have to do it. But it does do all that work for you. So really, really nice. Then we have queries. So queries, now we have the position filters that matter. We have striking distance, so the things that you can have impact on fast. Then we have supporting topics. So supporting topics is potential new content opportunities. So all of these things that are showing impressions, pretty crazy. So common reasons road accidents. So I either should probably create another whole article. Typically, something like this, it can either be, hey, you should either optimize for it, or you should have another whole article on this that's just specifically targeting that. Because anything that's, too low of a position, it often means that maybe it's not meant to be super optimized for it, but it does show us that there is opportunity. So next, so I can do all positions. I can just do question-based keywords that are showing up. I can do comparisons. I can do educational and long tail. So all sorts of filters, guys. This is incredible. On top of that, I can then do what's growing. Click to load. Great, so these are the ones that are growing. And let's do click to load that one. Cool, so these are the ones that are up there for that. I can see all of this stuff. I can see what's decreasing. Why is this decreasing? Well, probably because AI is stealing it all. All right, so that's it for those. You can see the pages too, but main thing is what you just saw. Now, we're going to be integrating the opportunities in here too, and integrating some entity insights. But for now, this actually is free. So anyone who wants to join the tool, this is free. We are only allowing a few people on per week. We have over 200 people now or something that want to join. I need to scale this. It's a lot of compute to be able to do this. I got to make sure we can actually handle it all. So, all right, next is connections. You can add your connections here, and pretty simple to add it. Once it's added, you can just test connection, view details, and I can link the project. This allows you to have some cooler capabilities for coverage analysis, internal linking, all that kind of stuff, eventually automation. Now, we have 78 posts, 47 pages, average word count, $12.99. We have, over here, we also keep an activity thing so that anytime you edit or anytime there's anything done on these pages, you'll know, like a history. And eventually I'll be using that for CRO analysis too. But I can see all sorts of stuff. I can see, once I've tied this to a project, I'll be able to see the coverage scores in here, but I can see the schema too. So pages are going to be wonky. That's just how they are. It's a home page. I can't bring in the design. But what I can show, and it's cutting off now, is we have SEO and title, meta description, internal links, and schema. So all that right here. Pretty nice. So that's what this piece is. You'll be able to do internal links as well. Let's go back. And I think there's only one more thing. Oh yeah, topical coverage. So over here, we kind of skipped it, but this shows the full score. I'm updating this, so the database, it's not finding it right now. But I'll be adjusting the grays, making it a little bit more colorful, but you should be able to see all this different stuff for, how well you're covering stuff. It's a nice little view. What's the worst performing segments? How many entities are in them? Priority gaps, all sorts of good stuff. So really, really nice to have that as well. That's topical coverage. With competitor analysis, I think I've already gone over most of that. And, it's workflow. This one's a weird one. I will show it just so you can have the benefit of seeing it real quick. But to make sure that it's really easy to follow along and generate all this stuff, you have the ability to just, once it loads real quick, step by step, just hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. Keep doing that until you get to the bottom. You just wait for it to go, and then you're good. So that's the tool, guys. That is it. So one last thing is to kind of go over this. One little summary. We have some feature descriptions here. We have more talk about how we're different, what's missing, what we do. All sorts of different stuff is here. And the goal is basically to educate people to understand, hey, why is this different? Why is this not just what all these other SEO tools are doing? This is actually SEO where we have full agentic AI. We have so much computational power. This is the future of what software should be. It's really advanced. It's really advanced. So, and it's doing things that no one else is doing because it's typically too hard to do. And I did it because I spent almost my entire adult life as in a career dedicating my life to being one of the best at this, at least the best at understanding it. So there are so many that have better track records than me, though. I get caught in the sauce and just read and test too long sometimes. All right, so you can get a bunch of examples over here. You can see what the knowledge graph is. You're not able to actually get into the tool yet, so if you want to see some of these things for yourself, you can do that. But the homepage here is meant to kind of be this thing that's helping you with all that. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully you want this for your business, and hopefully I see you in there shortly. Thanks for watching.